God, I have a question. It's not my question. It's a question, and I'm going somewhere with this, I assure you. It's a question that we get from my good personal friend of the show, Epicurus. Here we go. Is God willing to prevent evil but not able? Then he is not omnipotent. Is he able but not willing? Then he's malevolent. Is he both able and willing? Then whence cometh evil? Evil. Yeah, whence cometh evil? Is he neither able nor willing? Then why call him a god? Now that's a question that I just want you to frame in your mind as we think about the topic of God's omnipotent power. Because I've seen a lot of people in debates, especially with the whole Roe v. Wade situation going on. I've seen a lot of conservative Christians talking about how God has a plan for all those babies. A lot of the times this comes up when like the subject of rape comes up. And someone says, what about a baby that was a product of rape? And depending on how strong their convictions are, people will say things like, I believe that God has a plan for that baby. God put that baby, even under those circumstances. God did that for a reason, and God has a plan. Here's the picture of the guy who obviously is too tough for God. This is Henry Morgentaler. Henry Morgentaler was a guy who did abortions. He was an abortionist, and he was a Canadian, and he was a big part of the pro-abortion movement that was happening. He was doing abortions. Apparently, God is not as all-powerful as we would think, because even though he has a plan for those babies that's super important to him, he can't stop a regular human abortionist from doing an abortion. And that can't be his plan. Right? If everything is in God's plan and God has written all the deeds of our lives in the book of godly godness, then surely he read the part where it was like, and Morgentaler's going to kill that baby. Oh, okay. Maybe that was the plan. Maybe, it's such a bad half argument. It's the same as when they talk about the unnaturality of like homosexuality. Yeah, but it's an unnatural sin. God doesn't want that for you. Really? So God can't stop you from doing it? That seems weak. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I being uncharitable to the grand and glorious God? That's my argument for atheism. That's the Epicurus quote. It's not the reason I became an atheist, but it's certainly when I saw it, I was like, right? I'm just agnostic. I think there's something out there, but it's not necessarily what religion teaches you. To me, like, I'm an atheist simply out of I've never seen anything that answers any of these questions. If I was presented with something that did a good job of answering it, I'd be open to that. I'm not saying, I'd never say it's impossible. I just say I don't see any reason, right? So I don't consider myself an agnostic, but agnosticism also rhombus pilled. What if God's plan was for them to get an abortion? Exactly. If everything is according to God's plan, then wouldn't that also be? Yeah, like when someone has an untimely death, it's part of God's plan. See, and that's the thing, is part of God's plan, or it's God's will, Ishna Allah. All of these things, they're just like a nihilistic, like, meh, it's part of God's plan. Meh, he works in mysterious ways. That's why he kills babies. He works in mysterious, but you can't kill babies because you work in obvious ways. But no killing babies for you, only killing babies for God. Like, really? That just seems so fucking half-assed. Also, conservatives, once they're here, they're on their own. Yeah. I saw I think it was a legitimate quote. I just saw like someone shared a tweet that I saw, and it was a headline, I think, from Vox that was like, conservatives just voted against feeding the babies they are forcing you to have. And I was like, hell yeah, well played. I'm an atheist because I literally cannot believe in God. Like, if I told you that I had a unicorn in my room and that you could only see it if you believed, you still wouldn't. It's just not there. Yeah. If I saw a reason, then I would have reason to believe. I have never seen a reason. And the things that people quote to me as reasons, like, explain to me where logic comes from. It must come from God. Well, or or it comes from the fact that we evolved a brain as being a social animal, and one of the things that we evolved was that. These plans are shit. If God's such a really great plan maker, and his plan involves someone being raped or crime existing or suffering or slavery, like, write better plans, dude. What we do is we try and sort of, fit the great Lord into our little box of what we think. And that's one of the things I love about Christianity, is its capacity to just, like, wing it. The same book that my parents read and that inspired them to be peaceful, loving people who, shared their love of the Lord with their fellow man and all that kind of stuff. That same book inspires the Westboro Baptist Church. And it's not because the Westboro Baptist Church is wrong and my parents were right or whatever. It's because it's a book. You can pick whatever you want out of it. You can make it work, right? Same with Jordan Peterson. Just because you write a book that says clean your fucking room doesn't mean that you are good at anything besides telling people to clean their room. I don't know what to tell people, right? The Peterson fanboy types don't want to hear it. They're so caught up in the idea. Or the Rogan people who are like, yeah, but he was right about this one thing. And I'm like, okay, does that mean he's right about anything more than that one thing? I can tell you how to do, for example, PowerShell scripting. I can talk you through how to generate a PowerShell script with logic built into it. So there's nested statements and branches and all that kind of stuff and loops and things. Like, I can do that. Does that mean I should be able to tell you how social policy should work? No. No. First off, I want to say thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It really does help me out. Thank you to my patrons that support me on Patreon. I am a little streamer, and these people are all really awesome for supporting me. I try to put up stuff at least once a week, and I live stream every Saturday at noon Mountain Time on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, like an old man. Again, thanks for watching, and have a kick-ass day.